Namaste everyone, welcome again to the class. Now here we will see use or the functions of journal. Okay, we have understood how to generalize, okay, how to record the transactions in journal. Now let us see the uses or the functions of journal. Journal is needed for recording the following transactions: opening entry, closing entry, transfer from one account to another, rectification of errors, adjusting errors, adjusting entries, entry relating to dishonor of bills, other transactions for which there is no special book of original entry, example consignment, hire, purchase, joint venture transactions, etc. Thus, the journal performs the following functions. First, analytical function. The amount which is to be debited or credited to a ledger account is first analyzed in the journal. The journal reveals the two ledger accounts which are affected by a particular transaction. So when you record in journal, okay, as we have done in previous examples, we encountered different types of account. Like here you have purchase account, you have John and Company account, you have Roy and Company account. So these are different ledger accounts. So from journal we understand what are the different ledger accounts are and whether we have to debit or credit that particular account. So analytical, journal is analytical in function. Second, recording function. Every journal entry is supported by narration. Narration to an entry in the journal provide information about the transaction. And third, historical function. Transactions are recorded in journal in the chronological order. Okay, that is date wise we record. Okay, first transaction recorded first, second recorded afterwards. Therefore, the journal provide a chronological record of transaction during the year. Advantages of journal. The main advantage of journal are as follows. First, chronological record. Transactions are recorded in the journal in the order in which they occur. Therefore, journal provide a date-wise and complete record of business transactions. It also helps to reduce the chances of omitting a transaction. Second, explanation of transactions. So each entry in the journal carries narration which helps to know the details of transactions. It is not necessary to give explanation for every entry in the ledger. This reveals ledger of a great mass of written details. This relieves ledger of a great mass of written details. So in ledger we do not have to write in detail, okay, about transactions because it is already present in journal. It is also serve time and labor. So it also saves time and labor. Third, it reduces possibility of error. As soon as a transaction takes place, it is debited and credited side by side in the journal. So whenever we do any transactions, we record it. Okay, the two amount can be compared to ensure that they are equal. If the accounts are written up directly, the account written in the two accounts may not be equal. Means if I am writing Roy and Sons account, okay, directly, then there may be chance that we miss some, okay, some, what we can say that some entry, or we record something wrong. But in general when we are recording, so same amount is recorded in debit and credit, so we can cross verify, check. Fourth, convenience. When a journal is maintained, there is no need to make immediate entries in the ledger. The firm can pass entries in the ledger as and when convenient. So once you record transactions in journal, okay, then as per your convenience you can record ledger afterwards because the entry is already with you in journal form. Okay, double entry. Journal help to ensure that the basic rule of double entry, that every debit must have an equal and corresponding credit, is observed. Journal and ledger are cross indexed to each other. Now cross indexed to each other, that means in general we have one column called ledger folio, means on which page in ledger the same entry is there, and when we write ledger then we have JF, that is general folio, that means from which page in the general book we have taken the entry. 6 is division of labor. Most business firms today follow the practical system of bookkeeping. Under this system, several journals are kept to record purchases, sales, etc. In such a case, every journal can be entrusted to a different clerk having a necessary expertise. So division of labor means when we are recording in the journal, then it is not that much expertized work, so we can give to someone who is not that much expertise. Such division of work help to increase the efficiency of accounting staff. So by generalizing, we can divide the labor. Most business firms today follow the principal practical system of bookkeeping. Under this system, several journals are kept to record purchases, sales, etc. So here in journal book also we have different types of books, like all the purchase we record at one place, like that, all the cash we record at one place. So there are different persons appoint for these different works according to their expertise, and thus we divide the labor, division of labor. Detection of errors. Both the aspects of transactions are recorded in the journal at one and the same place. In case of amount debited and credited are not equal, it means some error has been committed. Thus the journal facilitates detection of mathematical errors. So when you see that total of debit and credit are not matching, then you will understand that there is some mismatch, some mistake, and that mistake you can easily figure out from your journal book. And reliable evidence. So generally the courts accept a journal as a legal evidence in case of dispute over a transaction. This is because journal is a book of original entry. So if there is any dispute regarding any transactions, then court also accepts the recordings in the journal book. So these are various advantages of journal. Now there are few limitations also. Let us see them. It is possible to record every transactions in the journal, but this may make the journal unwieldy. Therefore, the journal is divided into sub-journals. A separate journal is kept for each class of transactions. This limits the use of journal proper. The reason for limiting the use of journal are as follows. If all the transactions are recorded in the journal, it would become too long. Second, a business firm likes to ascertain the cash balance every day. Therefore, cash transactions are recorded directly in a separate cash book. Therefore, cash transactions are left out of journal proper. Journal proper means the main journal book. Now there is a limitation that if we are recording everything at one place, then it become too long, book will become too bulky. So what we do, we divide the journal in small books, that is called sub-journals. And this is also helpful as all business generally want to know how much cash the business have every day. So if the cash is recorded separately, then it is easy to identify the cash with the firm. So a business firm likes to ascertain the cash balance every day. Therefore, cash transactions are recorded directly in the separate book. Therefore, cash transactions are left out of journal proper. If different classes of transactions are recorded in different journals or subsidiary book, accounting work become easier, and this is because entries can be made in totals. Due to these reasons, the use of journal proper is limited. So use of journal proper is limited means we are using journal proper in limited sense. That means here we have seen that we have divided that journal in small books. Now subdivision of journal. So as stated earlier, journal is the primary book of every business firm. In big firm, the journal is subdivided into the following categories. So if the firm is big, then to record everything in one book is a very laborious, we can say, very time consuming. We can say that the book will become too bulky. So what we do in big firms, we divide this journal in different books as purchase journal or purchase book. This is one category. In this journal, the credit purchase made by the firm during the accounting period are recorded on the basis of invoices received from the supplier. So all the credit purchase what we have done, we record here. Cash purchases are not recorded in the purchase journal book, because all the cash purchases are recorded in the cash book. So we have separate cash book where we record all the cash transactions. We have purchase book where we record all the purchases made on credit. So all the cash purchases are recorded in cash book. Purchases of assets other than goods are not recorded in purchase book because these assets are not meant for resale. So in purchase book we are recording all the records of the purchase of goods. Okay, if any other thing we are purchasing apart from goods, then we are not recording them in the purchase book. In the same way, we have sales journal or the sales book. In this journal, the credit sales made by the firm during the accounting period are recorded on the basis of invoices sent by the firm to the customers. So all the credit sales what we have done, okay, for credit sales we have made invoices, bills which we have sent to the purchasers, and based on those documents we record the sales journal book. Cash sales are not recorded in the sales journal book. All the cash sales are recorded in the cash book. Sales book shows sales of the goods on credit. Sales of assets are not recorded because these items were not purchased for resale. So assets if you are selling, then that is not recorded in sales book. Now third book is purchase return or return outward journal book. So in this book, return outward, purchase return means if we are returning something which we have purchased, we are returning it, so that we record in a separate book. And this book, the good returned by the firm due to defect in the goods or otherwise are recorded. So if there is any defect and we are returning the goods, then that particular entry we do in the purchase return book. The entries in this book are made from the debit note issued by the firm to the supplier. So when we are returning something, for that we issue a debit note, and that debit note becomes the source book with the help of which we record this purchase return transactions. The debit note contains date of return of the goods, description of the goods returned, and the reason for returning, and the amount or values of the goods. Then we have sales return or the return inward journal book. Sales return. So when we have sale something, it may possible that customers, they will return our good because of some defect. So in this book, the goods returned by the customer due to defect in the goods or otherwise is recorded. The entries in this book are made from the credit note issued by the firm to the customer. So for recording all these this type of transactions, we issue the credit note. The credit note contains the date of return of the goods, description of the good return, the reason for returning, and the amount or the value of the goods. The format of all the above journals is similar to journal proper as given above. So recording in all these books is the same as we have done in journal book. The entries which are recorded, which cannot be recorded in any of these sub journal or the cash book, are recorded in journal proper. So we have made some divisions of books. Now if there are some transactions which cannot fit in these books, then those records we record in journal proper. Those transactions we record in journal proper. Now this is all about journals. Now let us understand what is a ledger. Okay, a ledger. So as stated earlier, all the transactions in the journal are recorded in chronological order. Recording of entries in the journal in the order of occurrence ensures that no entry is left out. So in journal we have recorded each and every transaction date wise so that no transaction left out. But the latest position about a person or asset or other item can be ascertained only when all the entries relating to it are recorded at one place. Okay. So for example, a customer Mr. Prem wanted to know how much amount he owes to the firm on 31st March. In order to find the amount, the firm will have to go through all the entries recorded in the journal list the transactions which Mr. Prem and calculate the difference. The problem can be easily overcome by maintaining a book in which a separate record of transactions relating to each account is kept. Such a book is called ledger book. Okay, so I will give you another example. Suppose you are a customer and you are going to a shop. Shop means you can say that suppose you are purchasing milk from some shop, and not only you are purchasing milk, but there are many other persons who are purchasing milk. So that owner of the milk center, what he can do, he can record date wise that today Monday, so Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, they have taken 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 liter and so on amount of milk, okay, on daily basis. Okay, but at the end of the month, if that shopkeeper wanted to know that how much total amount Mr. X has to pay at the end of the month. As you know that for milk sellers we pay on monthly basis, okay, and it is not necessary that each day we order the same quantity of milk. Okay, sometimes we order 2 liter of milk, sometimes we don't order at all. So the milk center have to record transactions, they have to record key on which day we have ordered, how much quantity we have ordered. Now first what they have done, key on daily basis they have recorded name of the person and how much liter milk they have purchased. Okay, day by day it is recorded. Now at the end of the month, if I wanted to know how much milk Mr. X has purchased, so for that what I have to do, in general I have to figure out all the transactions which the milk center had done with Mr. X, and then he have to total it. So the better way of doing this is to maintain a ledger account of Mr. X. Now what will happen in ledger? So in ledger all the entries related with Mr. X are only recorded. So on day 1 Mr. X purchased 1 liter, so on day 1 liter milk purchased by Mr. X. On day 2 3 liter if he has purchased, so 3 liter milk purchased by Mr. X, and its total amount is there in one separate book. So at the end of the month he only has to check the total amount of Mr. X in that book which he maintained separately for Mr. X. So that separate book which the milk center has maintained separately for Mr. X is ledger book. So in this way we have too many ledger books. How many means from general the number of account we encountered, that many number of ledger books we have to maintain. Okay, so slowly we will understand about these ledger books and how we have to maintain, that also we will see. So meaning of ledger. Ledger is a book which contains a separate account for each debitor, creditor, asset, liability, income and expense of the business. Ledger include all the basic account needed for the preparation of financial statements. It may be defined as the book which contains in a summarized and classified form a permanent record of all the transactions. In ledger, each account is allocated a separate page and all the transactions relating to that account are recorded at one place. The statement in which the transactions relating to one person, one thing or one item are recorded together is called an account, and the book in which all such accounts are maintained is called ledger. A ledger account may be defined as a summary of all transactions relating to a particular head at one place. Ledger is a book of final entry because it is prepared from the journal, which is the book of original entry. The process of recording transactions from the journal into classified account in the ledger is called posting. The ledger is the principal book containing all personal, real and nominal account. Transactions recorded in journal and sub-journals are transferred or posted to the ledger. Transactions recorded in the journal and sub-journal are posted to the ledger. Means all the transactions which we have recorded in journal, they are posted in ledger So we record them again in a separate book, that is ledger book. Now let us first understand the distinction between a journal and a ledger. First, it is the book of original entry, journal. Ledger, it is the book of final entry. Transactions in the journal are recorded as soon as they occur, and here the transactions in the ledger are posted after they are recorded in journal. Third point of distinction, in journal transactions are recorded in chronological order, day by day, and transactions in ledger are classified and grouped in the concerned accounts. Narration is written to each entry. In journal we write narration, a brief description. Here no narration is written. Fifth, ledger folio is written against each entry. So in journal you will find a column called ledger folio LF. Here in ledger, folio of the journal or the sub journal is written. So page number of the journal is written here. Debit and credit amount of the transactions are written in adjacent columns. So we have two columns, debit column, credit column. Here debit and credit amount of the transactions are written in two different sides or two different accounts. So that we will see once we see the format of ledger. There are two columns, one for debit amount and another for credit amount. So here we have two columns, for debit one and credit one, and there are two sides, left side for debit amount and right side for credit account. So in ledger account you will find there are two sides, one side is for debit, one side for credit. Eighth point is journal is not balanced, therefore balance on a particular date cannot be ascertained, and here every ledger account is balanced, therefore balance on a particular date can be ascertained. We can find how much balance is with a particular account. Okay. Ninth, does not help in judging accuracy of the books. The accuracy of the books we cannot understand from journal, and here from ledger it helps in judging the accuracy of books. Journal does not serve as the direct basis of preparing the final account. Now final account is something different. Okay, so directly from journal we cannot prepare the final account. Ledger serve as the basis for preparing the final account, but from ledger we can start the process of preparing the final account. So you can see here that too many work are there for accountants. Okay, they have to do general recordings, they have to do for ledger recordings, then they have to do the final accounting, right? Now here we have the format of journal, format of ledger. A ledger account is prepared in the following form. So here we said that there are two sides. So in between we have this double line. From on left hand side we record date, particular, journal folio and amount for accounts to be debited, and on the right side we write date, particular, journal folio and amount for credit. Okay, so this is how we will make the columns and we will record. Distinction between subsidiary books and ledger. Now subsidiary books, they are the books which we made separately, okay, to record journal entry only, okay, which are frequently occurring in nature, like purchase book, sales book, cash book. So subsidiary book, these are the books of original or primary entry. So as they are the part of journal entry or journal book, so these are the books of original or primary entry. And ledger, this is a book of final or secondary entry. Second, these books facilitate the preparation of ledger. So from journal we prepare ledger, similarly from subsidiary book we prepare ledger. And ledger, this book is principal book. Principal book means the main book from which we prepare the final account. Third, transactions in subsidiary book are recorded in chronological order. So here transactions we are recording in chronological order, day by day, and here transactions in the ledger are recorded in classified and analytical form. Okay, so all the points which we have done in the distinction of journal and ledger, the same are there for subsidiary book and ledger books. Fourth point, these books provide complete information about business transactions, and here in ledger it does not provide complete information at one place, because debit and credit aspects of transactions are recorded in separate. Fifth, the process of recording transactions in these books is called generalizing. So again, this is a general part, and the posting of recording transactions in this book is called posting. The final account cannot be prepared directly from subsidiary book, and here the final account can be prepared directly from the balances of ledger account. Each ledger account is divided into two equal parts. We have seen the format. So each ledger account is divided into two equal parts by two closely drawn vertical lines. The left hand side is called debit side and the right hand side is known as credit side. On each side there are columns for date, particular, general folio and amount. The date of transactions is recorded in the date column. In the particular column, a brief detail of the transaction is given. On the debit side, to, and in the credit side, by is added before the entry. So this is the way we record. Okay, so all the debit side are recorded with to, and all the credit side are recorded by word by. We will see when we discuss examples. The page number of the journal or the sub-journal from which the entry is being posted is given in general folio column. The money value of transactions is recorded in amount column. Now, utility of ledger. Where this ledger is used. Utility of ledger. So ledger is the most important book of account. It is the principal book which contains all the information regarding business. Ledger help in making classified and summarized record of an account. Ledger provides the necessary information about various accounts. Personal account and ledger show how much money the firm owes to its creditors and how much money it can recover from its debtor. Real account in the ledger shows the value of assets including closing stocks. Nominal account in the ledger shows the source of income and the amount spent on the various items. Ledger help in preparing the trial balance. Now, what is trial balance? That we will see afterwards again. So it helps in preparing the trial balance and the final account. The financial position of the firm can be ascertained easily at any time with the help of ledger. Thus, the various uses of ledger as follows. So we summarize. Ledger provide information about the assets of the firm because a record of every asset is kept in the ledger. Second, ledger gives a clear picture of the purchases and the sales made during an accounting period. Ledger provides knowledge about incomes and expenditures of the business. Ledger is helpful in judging the arithmetical accuracy of account. The trial balance is prepared from ledger. When totals of debit and credit side of the trial balance are correctly carried forward, ledger serves as the basis of preparing the profit and loss account. Therefore, it helps in knowing the profit or loss during the accounting period. And ledger provides the data for preparing the balance sheet which shows the financial position of the business on a particular date. Method of posting entries. Posting means process of transferring entries recorded in journal and sub-journal to the concerned account in the ledger. Posting means the process of transferring entries recorded in journal and sub-journal to the concerned account in the ledger. Posting enables the firm to know the net effect of various transactions during a period as a particular account. Journal tell us the account to be debited and credited and also the amount involved in the transactions. The amount to be credited is written after the word to. The amount is written on the right hand side of the account to be credited. In a particular column, the name of the other account concerned is written after the word by. The process of posting involves the following steps. Accounts to be debited is posted first. So account to be debited is posted first. On debit side of the relevant account, date of the transactions is recorded. In a particular column, name of the account to be credited is entered, preceded by the word to. In the journal folio column, the page number of the journal on which the journal entry appear is recorded. The amount of the entry is recorded in the amount column. The above steps are repeated for posting the account to be credited, by which but with one difference. The above steps are repeated for posting of the account to be credited, but with one difference. In a particular column, the name of the account to be credited is entered, preceded by the word by. Okay, so here how we record in journal. So you can see on the left side we are recording all the debit amounts, and on the right we are recording the credit side of the account. Okay, so let us understand this with this one simple example. This is one journal entry. On January 1, furniture account was debited and Ideal Furniture House was credited with an amount of 7,500. So there is one ledger account called furniture account, and there is one ledger account called the Ideal Furniture House. Okay, this we can know from this journal entry. This is our journal entry. On the folio page you can see page number 10 and 25. So that means there is a ledger book for furniture account, and on that book, on page number 10, we are going to record this entry. Now this entry, how it is going to be recorded? So furniture account, now furniture account is debited, and from whom it was debited? From Ideal Furniture House. Okay, so my furniture account is debited. So in furniture account, on debit side, I will record to Ideal Furniture House. This is 4th page of journal. So journal folio is 4 and the amount is 7,500. Okay, that means my furniture account, ledger of furniture account, it will show debit balance, and this debit balance is because of Ideal Furniture House. So I will write to Ideal Furniture House. Now on debit side we start with 2. So done, this entry we have done. Now when you see journal book, so there are many entries, so one by one we analyze each and every entry, and all the entries relating with furniture account we will write here. So there may chance that in some journal entry this furniture account was credited. Okay, so that entry will come on this credit side. Now here you can see this Ideal Furniture account house was credited by 7,500, and this was credited by furniture account. Okay, credited, and the respective debit account was furniture account. So I will say that the Ideal Furniture House was credited by 7,500. Okay, and in particular I will mention by furniture account. So this is a complementary entry, right? Means this Ideal Furniture House was credited and the respective debit account was your furniture account. So you will write here by furniture account. So these are some methods that we have to follow. So understand that there are some steps which you have to follow and then proceed further. So this is one example we have discussed. I will stop this lecture here. Okay, I will recommend that again you revise this thing. Okay, see line by line. Okay, understand it, and then see the next lecture to understand how we are going to record in your ledger book. So for ledger book, the source is journal book. So the entries which are there in journal book, that we are going to use to record in the ledger book, and then we will see how to record transactions in ledger book. Yes, okay. So let us meet in our next class. Thank you.